diys-by-dar. Let's make this chair beautiful. This is part of the Asking Spot Challenge Patio Furniture, which is hosted by Margie. And this is the piece of furniture that I'm using. It is a dining chair, and it is a rather expensive one from an expensive set. And I did get it for $5, and it is in rough shape. It's pretty dinged up, and then it has that finish on it where distressed, where it has the holes in it, and then like the little lines. So this is going to require quite a bit of mud. I am going to get this cleaned up, and I'm just using some Dawn Power Wash, a scrub brush, and my hose out on a hot summer day, and I love it. Now, I took the cushion off, and this will allow me to get all of that wood filler in and skim coating that I needed to do. And I just used Gorilla wood filler on this portion. And once it's dry, I will sand this off, which will basically be my scuff sanding. And I am going to use this Bullseye 123 primer. Why not? I just sprayed one coat on. Yeah, I know, no mess, but look at which way the wind's blowing, so we're going to be okay. Now, I wanted to get this cushion done, and the back came off really easy. Very well-built cushion. Here's where the problem started. I needed to get this little edging off. It made a ridge, and I knew when I was going to reupholster this, it was going to create a problem or leave like a little bump in there. So I had to get this off. This had such big, heavy staples in it, and they were just stuck in there so deep. It really took a lot for me to get this out. But eventually, I finally was able to use my muscles and remove all of it off. And then I was ready to go with my upholster job. There's that big piece of leather there. No, I should call it pleather, I guess. So here's my material. I purchased this from Amazon. It is a indoor-outdoor heavy, like duck canvas type material. And I am just going to measure this up and see about how much I need to go around this cushion seat. And I am going to use this Tight Bond upholstery or adhesive, and you just spray it on, wait about 30 seconds, and then put your material over. I will tell you, watch for pooling of this solution, because if it pools and you put your material over the top, it's going to seep up through, and then your piece of material is ruined. So I am going to use my lovely Newmaster staple gun, which I like a lot, and I am being lazy, and I did not sew my edges. I'm just folding them in. And I approach this much like stretching a canvas. I will start in the middle on each side and pull it tight. And that way it helps for you to keep it square. And I just go around, and here's one of the other sides, and you can see I'm pulling quite tight and folding that in, and I'll take that stapler and staple that in place. And when you start that way, I just that's the way I like to do it. It works a lot better for me anyway. Now the corners, well, they don't look too bad, but how did I get there? Corners, how I do them is I keep working my way toward that corner, and I keep pulling that material over whatever edge I'm going around until it is laying straight. And then I will put a staple in that area. And I can have 5 or 6 staples by the time I'm done, but usually it's wrapped pretty good around the edge. So just keep going around and pulling it around your edge, and eventually you'll get to the very end, and that material should be straight. You may have maybe a minor little fold, but I had one more little kink I needed to get out. And of course you can't see it because my hairdo is in the way, but there's the last staple. And it came out okay. And I'm liking this cushion. It's looking nice. It's feeling nice. Should wear very well. I need to get a bottom on this, so I just used a piece of black polyester material and followed the same rules, start in the center and work my way around. And the bottom is now on and this cushion is ready. So here is my chair. I'm just looking at it because I'm trying to decide on what color paint to use. I have my decoupage paper connected to the chair. Now I have some Annie Sloan paints here in the color English Yellow and Arliss. I didn't want this to be too yellow and I didn't want it to be too gold. So I thought maybe a mixture of these two might give me what I wanted, and I did end up really liking the color. I put 2 coats on this, which was great coverage with this paint, and nice evening in Michigan, dried quite well. So there we are. The chair is ready to go. The next step is the decoupage paper, and I am a Made by Marley brand ambassador, so this is my decoupage paper of choice. This is Bumbling Along pattern, and it has lovely bumblebees and flora all over it, and they make the best paper. I just love it. The designs are just awesome. When you start with most decoupage papers, you need to tear the end to get that open so the fibers are open to accept paint for blending. Made by Marley paper is more robust. It's more like a paper. It's heavy. It's not like a tissue paper. So I have it torn and I am ready to put this piece of decoupage paper on the back of my chair. I am going to use Mod Podge. This is the recommended glue from Made by Marley, and I have 2 brushes. One to get the glue on, and then this really kind of soft one to smooth everything out when I'm done, because I do not want any brush marks. I just want it as smooth as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and get this glue on there, and I am just smoothing it out with a light hand, skimming it over the top, and I am ready to put this paper on. So I'm starting at the top, and of course I've got to have my fat head in the way. I kind of get lost in the moment and forget about the camera being behind me, and I'm trying to concentrate on getting this paper on with no wrinkles in it, so I apologize for that. So I'm starting to lay it down, and I'm just lightly touching it, and I am going to get a soft cloth, and I will use that to help me brush that down and then take the rest of the piece down without wrinkles in it. This pleather was not that forgiving. I ended up with some wrinkles in it, so I did the best I could. I'm just putting more paste on the very edge and sticking it down all the way around because I want it to stick well. So there we have it. And the next step will be to mix up some paint. I have some Aubusson blue and some Amsterdam green, and these are both, there it is, Amsterdam green. I did a mix of those, and then I had to also do it separate because there was a little bit of blending that I had to do to get this paper to match up. And my camera lens must have been dirty because I got a mist in the room, or maybe somebody's visiting me. I don't know. So I'm going ahead and blocking this all in and going back and blending a little bit more of the blue around the edge where it was blue, so this all matches. And there we have it. And my visitor in the mist is still here. Now, I did a bunch of fussy cutting, which means cutting out real precise some of the other designs from that paper. And I want to add these all around the edge, basically like a collage. And when you do this, you have to make sure you get enough paste down and you get all your little articulations pasted down. And I like to use my brush to pretty much just fold them downward. It works the best. You're not tearing on the paper. And I also go back and I just check them with my finger a little bit just to make sure everything is down. But I did this all the way around the edge and gave it a very interesting and I think very pretty and beautiful border all the way around with some smaller bees and flowers. Now you see the honeycomb? I had a stencil that looked like honeycomb, and I took gold and I applied that around in the open areas where I didn't have the decoupage paper before the trim with the nail heads came up around that outside edge. And I just brushed it back and forth, and I really liked it. It looked really cool. Another stencil I had, it said Queen Bee. I got that on there, and then I had a crown. The bee wouldn't fit, but the crown would. I had to tape off the bottom edge, which made it a little bit funky, but that's all right. I can go straighten that out and hand paint that in. I have my Mod Podge again. Now, since a lot of my paper is still open, I am going to seal the whole front of this with a good layer of this Mod Podge before I move on any further. So, top to bottom, I spread that out. Up at the top, it's looking a little bit heavy right there, but I pulled that down, so it was not quite that heavy. Let that dry, and we will be ready for the next part of this process, which is going to be using some Stick With Me and some Dixie Shine in Gold. I wanted to accent the very tops and down at the bottom. And when you put this glue on, this stuff is sticky. But now you have to make sure you cover every part of that with the glue, because if you miss a spot, nothing's going to stick there. So make sure you get it fully covered. Wait until you see it's clear. That's about 10 minutes. And then take your gold sheet and lay it over the top. Gold side up, of course. Ask me how I know that one. And rub it. And I also use a little scrubby. And I don't rub hard, just light, so you can get a good transfer. And then peel it off. And then you can see I've got a couple skiffers there. You can touch it and see if there's glue there. If there's glue, lay the piece back down and rub it again. And hopefully you'll get it to transfer, which in this case I did. If it doesn't have glue on it, you can put glue on these again and then put more over the top. Now I have some Annie Sloan chalk paint lacquer in clear matte. I put 2 coats on this piece. And I've never used this before, but I must say I do like it. It only allows you to put so much on or it'll start running. And the 2 coats gave it a really nice finish. And I also put it on the chair. The next step, I wanted to get these little rivets to stand out. So I used some gilding wax in gold and just went around them with a brush at the top just to give them a little bit of a pop. And most gilding waxes are petroleum based, so they are going to dry and they won't come off. You don't have to put anything over the top of them. So here is my chair back. I'm really enjoying this. I like it a lot. But I do have a final step. I am going to put some clear wax over the top of it just to help make it supple. And I just put a layer on, let it sit for a few minutes, and then wiped it off. And I think finally this chair is complete. This was what I started with, and this is what I ended up with. I want to thank Margie from the Asking Spot for hosting this patio furniture challenge. Check out the playlist. It'll be in my description, and check out what the other artists have done. I want to thank Made by Marley for making the most wonderful paper in the world. So, until the next one,